Take 4. Oh, the joys of content creation. How I've missed you. What's up, y'all? It's Mini Money. Welcome to my channel. It's been a while since I posted, but I'm busy, okay? And I guess I should let you guys know while I've been gone, I don't have to explain myself, but just for courtesy purposes, I moved. Look at, it's a new background. Ain't they lovely? Okay. Look at money, baby. Money, baby. You gotta say it like that. Money, baby. Okay, this is my abundance tree. All right. We got a new sprout here. Okay. And then also, I had my first skate event. So, outside of making videos, I like to roller skate. And it was the first event in Virginia, and we had people from outside of Virginia come, and it was just the vibes. I hate when people say that, but look, that's all I can say. It was just a good energy. It was a good experience, and I'm excited to keep roller skating and traveling and roller skating and meeting people, dope ass people, period. That's it. All right.
Come on. DJ Philip. Don't let no one change you. Come on. Don't let no one change you. Come on. DJ Philip. Don't let no one change you. Come on. 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 Don't let no one change you. Come on.
An amazing event. But I'm back. And the topic that I'm talking about today is my experience from living in Bali, Indonesia. Let's get to it. So I have shared my experience of living in Korea and why I decided to leave Korea after 1 year. And basically the reason I decided to leave Korea was the reason I decided to go to Indonesia. So in Korea after that year, I was very overwhelmed and stressed out. No lie. And I knew Indonesia, I guess I should mention that when I moved there, it wasn't the first time I had visited. I believe it's. Let me take a breath because just hold on. Sometimes I get a little excited when I'm talking, like a little damn kid. Okay, when I'm passionate about stuff. But anyways, so I had went on a trip to Korea, Indonesia, for I believe it was my 23rd birthday. And I had taken a solo trip because for the past few years I have been very much so on a self-reflection journey. And so I went there by myself, saved up my little monies, took my little vacation time, and I went for about 5 days. And so just to say that, so when I moved, it was not my first time being in Indonesia. However, vacationing and living somewhere, two different things. So again, so when I first went there, I had planned to go. So I had saved up enough money to hold me for a little bit in Indonesia. And Korean money is more equal to American money, where Indonesian currency is, much lower. So the Korean money that I got paid in and was able to save was a good amount to hold me for a good amount of time. So again, I got to Indonesia, was taking massage class. My course was only 1 month. And in the class, it was a lot of Japanese and other Balinese students. So what's crazy is I was able to get close to the Japanese students. 3 of them in particular I got super close with, which again, when I think about it, is just crazy because we really didn't speak the same, like their English was like pretty low level. So, and I'm always want to say, I don't like small talk, or I don't like I like to get to know people deeply. And so, you would think because their English was basic, I wouldn't be able to form a deep connection with them. But it was quite the opposite. So, because language is not the only way that you can communicate, right? So whenever I am traveling and we don't speak the same language, it's a lot of body movements that go on. It's a lot of sign language. It's a lot of like more, actually, when you don't use words, it's almost like a more intimate connection sometimes, because it's like more of like feeling somebody's energy, more of like reading somebody's body language, more of a lot of reading facial expressions and all of that. And so again, I was able to become really good friends with those 3 Japanese girls at that moment, or in that 1 month time span. And one of them in particular I got the closest with. And it just reminded me of how much we are energy beings, right? And how much energy speaks as opposed to what people say, right? So anyways, that was that. And another thing I want to add on to my relationship with them is I feel like they were there, like we helped each other figure out our strengths and weaknesses, because their strengths were my weaknesses and my weaknesses were their strengths. So I was able to learn so much from them in that really short amount of time. And even when I think about it now, I'm like, wow, like they taught me so, just watching them, just seeing who they are as people, I learned a lot. So that was amazing. So anyways, I have finished my massage course, and sometimes I get these ideas in my head, and I was like, well, maybe I can be a part-time massage therapist. But upon learning, like really getting in depth into the field, I learned that it's very sexualized, and I didn't want to deal with that. So I said, this just be something that I know how to do, right? But before I move on to when I left massage school, so there was one day where one of my Japanese friends, we were upstairs. We had finished eating lunch, so we had went back upstairs, and we were waiting for our instructor to come back up. And all of a sudden, we just heard this girl screaming, like screaming to the top of her lungs, like she saw a ghost. So first of all, my Japanese friend was like, first of all, like our faces was like, and then she said, Imani, human? Like, was that a human noise? Like, that's how bizarre it sounded. And I was like, girl, I don't know. So we stayed upstairs. We didn't go downstairs to see what that was. We stayed upstairs, waited for our teacher. And then so I asked my teacher, who was a Balinese woman, and I was like, what was that? And she goes to explain that some of the Balinese women have what we in America or the Western world would refer to as the sixth sense. So she said that, basically they are more connected to the spirit world, and they see things maybe some other people do not see. So that is why the woman screamed. So that was my first mind-boggling spiritual experience. And I guess it's important to know that Bali is known as the island of gods, right? So anywho, that was the first one. And then there was at my Airbnb that I was staying at the moment, it was a white foreign couple, and there's a psychedelic that's very popular in Bali specifically. I did not do it, not saying I'm opposed to it, I just wasn't ready to do psychedelics, and I was not doing it by myself, and that's not safe. But so the white people, they had taken this psychedelic, and they were telling me about their experience. And they were like, they saw demons. And then he proceed to ask me, have I seen any demons? And I said, no, sir. No, sir. No, sir. And so he was like, what? You ain't see no demons? Like, yeah, because and he was like, yeah, we really saw some crazy stuff, and it wasn't a good experience for me. And in my head, I like stories. I love hearing people's stories and all of that. But in my head, I was like, well, first of all, ain't nobody tell y'all to take them psychedelics if you wasn't ready. That's first. Second, don't be trying to put your demons on me. So, I had to go in my room and, put a little spiritual cloak of myself and pray and be like, yo, don't be sending your demons over to me. It's a different thing, me dealing with my own demons, but don't be sending your demons, okay? Anyways. So that was my second spiritual experience in Indonesia. And meanwhile, these both happened while I was still at massage school. So within my first month. And you know, when the guy had told me that story, of course I had to call my mama, and I'm like, Mom, guess what this man talking about? And she said, well, you said you wanted a spiritual experience. Anyway, so, all right, so let's go back. So I left massage school, and I moved I wanted to be in a specific location in Indonesia. Because another thing to note is that I really miss being around black people when I was in Korea. Like, I love getting to know about other cultures and everything, but I also like really love my culture. And so it was hard for me not being around what I'm used to all of that time. So when I went to Indonesia, there's a very large black and Bali group, and they were like mostly in this one area. So I moved to that area because that's what I wanted to be around. And so I had a little transition period, and then my biological father came to visit me for a couple of weeks, and he said that he wanted me to start applying for jobs because, again, I didn't really have an income coming in at the time. I was just using whatever money I had saved up. All right, so I've been applying to teaching jobs. So I'm at a school right now. Okay, I'm a visitor, and I'm supposed to be doing a like trial class with grade 11. So while I was there, I had went to a lot of interviews. Again, I had an ESL teaching license, so it wasn't that difficult. But the job that I ended up getting was in another part of Indonesia. So I got that job. My father left, and I went to, I started working in that job. But again, it was in a different area. It was more like a city area, which was not what I was looking for. That's what I came away from in Korea. But anywho, I started the job, and it was still a good experience. It was a great experience because I love to teach and I love to educate, and I had the opportunity to do that with like all ages and levels, which I love it. I love it. Because when I was in Korea, I only taught grade school, which was kindergarten through 5th grade. But the school that I worked at in Indonesia was a school that offered classes to all ages. So I got to teach the little babies all the way up to adults. And one of the best work experiences that I have had, to be honest. I'm a communicator. I like communicating with people. And it was amazing because I not only got to see, it was just like, it was interesting to work with all of those different levels. And there was another experience that just helped me realize how much I genuinely love communicating with people, as well as the education field, because I like to learn. And education is one of those things where, as long as you're in it, you are continuously learning, because you can't just be going out there teaching somebody whatever and you getting to share that information with other people. That's a whole communication exchange, and I love that. So another amazing experience, and then I got to meet other foreigners who were there because they were also teaching English. So that was great. And then I quit after like 4 months because, again, that's not what although it was a great experience, it's not what I went to Indonesia for. I went for a different type of experience. I wanted to look more into entrepreneurship. I wanted to kind of relax a little bit, right? Like, that's why I had saved up that money. But also, I've had a job as long as I can remember. So Nah, I'm just joking. Like, since I could get a job with, like, what, 15, 16, when I got a little worker's permit, that's when I started working, okay? And so, I just always had money coming in. So it was very odd for me not to have money coming in, even though I had money in my account. I'm like, this is not right. Okay. So that's why I took the job. And I don't regret that experience, but I came to a point where I was like, you know what? As much as I'm grateful for this, this is not what I came here for. So I quit.